I think it's time to start freaking out about what we don't know about this Diddy situation.
There are reports that Diddy has a list of over 200 celebrities that could be humiliated by what he could reveal or worse. Could he take some of these people down with him if he were to testify? And it's everyone, politicians, musicians, models, movie stars. There will be a lot of nervous people.
Amid facing a staggering amount of new sexual assault allegations, Sean Diddy Combs is prepping for the trial of his life and assembling his own version of a dream team to take on the federal prosecutors in his sex trafficking case.
In the chaotic world of the Joe Rogan Experience, things have taken a dark turn in recent episodes as Rogan and his guests delved into the scandal surrounding Sean Diddy Combs. What started as rumors about Diddy's wild parties and possible shady dealings has now become a full-blown legal crisis. With Diddy already arrested and most of the allegations against him confirmed, the story has shifted from internet gossip to a shocking reality that has rocked the entertainment world. The accusations aren't just about Diddy throwing extravagant parties. They claim he was running an Epstein-style operation where celebrities, models, and influencers were filmed in compromising positions, possibly for blackmail.
The case against Sean Combs might as well just be called the freak-offs. These allegedly illegal freak-offs. It's all about the freak-offs in one way, shape, or form.
Freak-offs?
Freak-offs.
Freak-offs. Freak-offs.
The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
Prosecutors say that these were elaborately produced events, bringing lighting in, cameras, linens.
Prosecutors said he would masturbate during these freak-offs, and women had no choice.
Alleged drug-fueled orgies, prostitution, and a cover-up. Freak-offs, as they're called, at the core of a searing 3-count federal indictment against Sean Diddy Combs.
Sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, interstate transportation for prostitution.
Now a look at the charges that threaten to end his career and his freedom. Inside the fall from grace from the powerful impresario. A reckoning that some say is long overdue.
He says, oh, I'm hip-hop. Yeah, well, you know what? Hip-hop deserves better.
While Rogan didn't drop a full list of who might have been caught up in Diddy's notorious freak-offs, the conversation touched on what this means for the broader celebrity ecosystem.
Since Diddy's arrest, previous celebrity interviews are also resurfacing and revealing more about Diddy's alleged conduct. In 2016, singer Usher, who had previously lived with Diddy when he was a teenager, told radio personality Howard Stern very curious things took place at Diddy's so-called Puffy Flavor camp. Usher, who was around 13 at the time, had moved to New York City and lived with Diddy, who was going by Puff Daddy, for a year. The idea to live with Diddy came from L.A. Reid, who was Usher's manager. Usher said he went to live with Diddy for a chance to see the lifestyle and referred to the time period as a wild and crazy time in the 90s. And in a 2004 interview with Rolling Stone, Usher was quoted as saying, "Puff introduced me to a totally different set of stuff, sex specifically. Sex is so hot in the industry. There was always girls around. You'd open a door and see somebody doing it or several people in a room having an orgy. You never know what was going to happen." But in 2016, when Stern asked whether Puffy's place was filled with chicks and orgying nonstop, Usher responded, not really. Usher said very curious things took place there that he didn't necessarily understand. But as for if it would be a place Usher would consider sending his children to, this is what he had to say.
What a life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Diddy's arrest came after a long period of swirling allegations about what really happened at his infamous freak-offs. These weren't just regular Hollywood parties. They were days-long events full of sex, drugs, and allegedly illegal activities.
Another woman is accusing Sean Diddy Combs of sexual assault in a lawsuit.
It's important to note that Diddy's white parties are not mentioned in the 3-count indictment the federal government levied against Combs.
Forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice.
However, distressing accusations have surfaced, including one from Adria English, an exotic dancer and adult film performer who was hired by Diddy to work a series of white parties in the mid to late 2000s. She sued Diddy, alleging that the music magnate asked her to wear a black dress to signal her availability for intimate encounters. She also asserts that she was plied with several substances and made to be a, quote, sexual pawn.
In the complaint, she accuses Combs and other defendants of using her as, quote, a sexual pawn.
Recording artist Jay Blaze says he attended the 2009 White Party, but notes that he grew uncomfortable as the night went on. He allegedly saw inebriated men mistreat models in the pool, adding that no one intervened. These accusations have led to a reappraisal of the White Parties in light of Diddy's recent legal troubles.
Prosecutors have painted a disturbing picture of Diddy as a kingpin of debauchery, where guests, both male and female, were allegedly manipulated and sometimes coerced into sexual acts. Some of these acts were reportedly filmed, leading to concerns that Diddy may have used the footage to control and blackmail powerful people in the entertainment industry.
Freak-offs.
They also uncovered videos of elaborately produced sex performances with multiple victims that Combs allegedly referred to as freak-offs.
At the center of the current charges laid against Combs are so-called freak-off performance parties. Prosecutors describe these X-rated events as, quote, elaborate and produced performances featuring adult workers, which Combs allegedly organized, directed, and recorded for his own gratification.
He's accused of trafficking women and male sex workers to perform depraved freak-offs, drug-fueled sex parties for his own twisted enjoyment.
Freak-offs, which often lasted several days, were held in secret. Many were said to have taken place after Diddy's White Parties. It's reported that once the bulk of A-list guests departed, the freak-offs would often begin in back rooms. These events included male and female sex workers. It's also purported that there was heightened security and staff to facilitate the debaucherous events.
Rogan didn't hold back in his discussion, pointing out how wild it is that so many powerful figures are now entangled in this mess. He even compared Diddy's operation to the infamous Epstein scandal, where high-profile guests were filmed at parties for potential blackmail purposes.
I don't think we've ever seen anything like this. I've been trying to get my hands around it, and I've never had a situation where we've got the big name. Sean, Diddy, whatever. I know he's changed his nickname like a million times, but I kind of know why. This guy's been in the reinvention of badness business for a really long time, evidently. So if we have him, why does it seem that the story is still much bigger? Now, at first, I wrote it off as the boogeyman principle, like with Epstein. You know, you don't get the full story on Epstein. It is much more provocative to say someone killed him because of exactly what I'm talking about with Diddy, that there had to be more, right? Because remember what the commodity is. The commodity is as old as society, which is the power brokers, the establishment, the elite, whatever you want to call them. They used to be called the bourgeoisie, okay? Every society has gone through this, that there are people in power that you don't know about that have the hand of influence that makes everything happen.
Rogan mused on the idea that Diddy might have been using similar tactics, hosting wild parties, getting people loose, and then recording everything. Whether it was for blackmail or simply for his personal stash of wild footage, the outcome is the same: a twisted web of control, manipulation, and power.
And it reminds me of Harvey Weinstein in a way, but more troubling on a level. How? Epstein, Weinstein, Diddy. What is the common thread? People with power through access, wealth, which helps connect to power, who are able to do shit that we find not only frightening and disgusting and illegal, but perverse. And the perversity matters. Weinstein is not just allegedly another rapist, but it was a culture. You know, the casting couch, you know, we've all heard of that. This is what makes that boogeyman so real. And there are two added layers. One is, and everybody knows, and there are a lot of people that you know and care about, but they've never told you, right? And then there is this, and it's always been okay until now.
What's most disturbing is that Diddy didn't act alone. It's been confirmed that he had a team, managers, assistants, and security who helped run his freak-offs and ensured everything was in place. This included recruiting women and male prostitutes, making sure the hotel rooms were properly stocked, and, most chillingly, allegedly helping Diddy cover up the darker aspects of these parties.
The indictment goes on to say, quote, members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees, facilitated the freak-offs by, among other things, booking hotel rooms for the freak-offs, stocking the hotel rooms in advance with the required freak-off supplies, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting, cleaning the hotel rooms after the freak-offs to try to mitigate room damage, arranging for travel for victims, commercial sex workers, and Combs to and from freak-offs, resupplying Combs with requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay the commercial sex workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids. In or about March 2024, during searches of Combs' residence in Miami, Florida and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. So according to federal prosecutors, Diddy's associates and members of the so-called Combs enterprise are the ones who helped arrange for these illegal freak-offs. The indictment goes on to say members and associates of the Combs enterprise enabled Combs' control over victims by following his directions regarding financial payments to the victims, advancing or suppressing the victims' career opportunities, and acquiring the controlled substances Combs used to keep the victims compliant. It also alleges these associates knew of Diddy's physical brutality to these survivors and would help Diddy conceal this by hiding these victims in hotel rooms waiting for their injuries to heal. At times, these associates allegedly tracked down any victims attempting to leave Diddy and then forced them to stay. Federal prosecutors allege these associates showed a willingness to conceal crimes and are guilty of a laundry list of crimes, including preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power of the Combs enterprise, including the power of its leader, Combs, through violence, use of firearms, threats of violence, coercion, and verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse.
One particularly damning accusation comes from Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who filed a lawsuit that set off a wave of investigations.
Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, aka Cassie, sued the mogul in federal court on allegations of rape and a decade-long pattern of physical and sexual abuse. The singer, who was previously signed to Diddy's Bad Boy Records, claimed the rapper was controlling of every aspect of her life, including where she lived, what she wore, and even her medical records. The suit alleged several instances of abuse committed by Diddy, including battery, rape, and forcing her to have sex with male sex workers. The suit also claims Diddy used intimidation to control the R&B singer, including allegedly having someone blow up another rapper's car after Diddy learned he was interested in romantically pursuing Cassie when they were on a break period from their relationship. The rapper we've learned to be Kid Cudi, who confirmed the allegations to be true. Then there's the physical violence she endured during her relationship with Diddy. In one instance, Diddy allegedly pushed her into a car, then proceeded to kick her in the face repeatedly. In another claim, an intoxicated Diddy allegedly gave Cassie a black eye after she tried to leave a hotel room. The hotel security footage captured the incident, but Diddy allegedly bought it off for $50,000. The incident was captured on shocking surveillance video that was released months ago by CNN. While denying all allegations in Cassie's suit, the release of the surveillance video prompted Diddy himself to issue an apology while not mentioning Cassie by name.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life, but sometimes you got to do that. I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
Within 24 hours of filing, Cassie settled her lawsuit, but the damage was done. It triggered a flood of other accusations from multiple people, all pointing to a similar pattern of abuse and manipulation. Rogan, never one to shy away from conspiracy theories or uncomfortable truths, speculated on how far-reaching Diddy's influence might be. While the full list of celebrities involved hasn't been released, it's well known that Diddy ran in elite circles. Rogan also brought up the point that these these kinds of scandals aren't new to Hollywood. If you look back at history, powerful figures in entertainment have often used their influence to exploit others. The culture of silence that allowed Diddy to operate for so long is eerily similar to the one that protected Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, and others who used their power to abuse.
Hey, yes, I was there, and I recall, Cuba Gooding Jr., putting his hands on Little Rod, or I recall certain aspects. So it's going to be a very witness-intensive type of case, and the question is, will the witnesses be willing to come forward?
Another high-profile name listed in Lil Rod's lawsuit is Jennifer Lopez.
From the standpoint of the names of the celebrities that were tied to this, the fact that Jennifer Lopez was tied to this back when she was involved in or party to a shooting at a nightclub when she was dating Diddy, and is now alleged to have brought the gun with her to the scene and gave it to Diddy, and that's how the shooting occurred.
Lil Rod's team brings up J-Lo when establishing Diddy's history, writing his quote, "RICO enterprise has existed for at least 20 years, dating back to the 1999 nightclub shooting in NYC, when Mr. Combs required his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez to transport his illegal firearm into the NYC nightclub." The court docs also allege Diddy forced his then-artist Shine to assume responsibility for the shooting of several individuals.
The most damning part of the allegations confirmed against Diddy is the claim that he used recordings from these parties to blackmail people. Rogan compared it to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, where it was alleged that Epstein filmed powerful figures at his private island and used the footage to maintain leverage over them.
Bystanders and participants. What are we going to get next out of this case, Kinsey?
When we watched the Diddy raids, we saw Homeland Security collect hard drives, digital equipment, videotapes, DVDs. Every public figure or celebrity that can be identified in Sean Combs' freak-off videos, those people are expected to be questioned if they haven't already. The theory is that Diddy secretly filmed his parties to use the footage as blackmail to control or have some sort of leverage against the participants. There are reports that Diddy has a list of over 200 celebrities that could be humiliated by what he could reveal or worse. Could he take some of these people down with him if he were to testify? And it's everyone, politicians, musicians, models, movie stars. There will be a lot of nervous people thanks to that press conference, thanks to the future court hearings. And I do wonder if Diddy and his team were concerned about his safety behind bars. I don't have to remind you what happened to Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton's bestie, Jeffrey Epstein.
Rogan speculated that this could be why Diddy has managed to maintain so much influence for so long.
Who knew about Diddy? Who knew that it wasn't just white parties? Who knew that there were women and men, boys and girls allegedly being fed tons of drugs where they couldn't consent? How many stories are there out there? How many people did deals with this guy even though? Is that why his liquor deal went sideways? Ciroc, or however you say it. His tequila, did they know and back away? And did he decide to push up on them because he had the cultural cachet and they don't? I don't know. But this is a big deal. And that's why it's RICO. It's RICO because they are trying to do what they do with the mob, which is say, look, we can't catch you in everything because you got too many people who are willing to take it to their grave, but we're going to catch you doing a criminal thing that masked what an enterprise was supposed to be about. That's RICO.
Now that Diddy's arrest has been confirmed and the allegations are being backed up with evidence, the question is, who else will fall?
Mr. Combs was known for throwing the best parties. Affiliation with and/or sponsorship of Mr. Combs' sex trafficking parties garner legitimacy and access to celebrities, such as famous athletes, political figures, artists, musicians, and international dignitaries like British royal Prince Harry. Why even name Prince Harry? There's no allegations against him or anything, but why bring him up?
I think it may have been a move to bring more credibility to the filing and say that, basically he being Diddy, was using his fame, fortune, and influence to insulate himself. So he was able to legitimize some of the activities he was doing by having these lavish parties, bringing all these A-list celebrities, but somewhere in a back room or somewhere in another wing, horrible things were happening. So the fact that Prince Harry was there does not necessarily mean he was participating in what was happening. And just because you were at a party doesn't mean you know what's happening.
Rogan discussed how Hollywood's culture of excess has allowed this kind of behavior to thrive for decades.
The Fets became a significant networking hub for those in music, film, fashion, and beyond. Notable attendees over the years included the likes of Leonardo DiCaprio, Salman Rushdie, Donald Trump, Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Chris Brown, among many others. Notable incidents. Being such a high-profile spectacle, Diddy's white parties often made for extravagant scenes. No expense was spared, and no detail was overlooked. The 2009 party was said to feature dancers, quote, gyrating in giant plastic balloons. It was also at this event that Ashton Kutcher memorably swung like Tarzan across the swimming pool. It's said that models often wore angel wings and occasionally went topless. In fact, photos from the 1998 party show Diddy pouring champagne over a couple of partially nude attendees. In 2004, Diddy reportedly brought out an original copy of the Declaration of Independence, accompanied by tight security, of course. Over-the-top incidents like these helped cement the party's reputation as an event where anything could happen.
Well, this party, I think half the people there were butt naked. You would have loved it.
With Diddy as the latest figure to be taken down, it's only a matter of time before more names start to surface. The celebrities who attended these parties, the people who helped Diddy run them, and the industry insiders who stayed silent all have a lot to answer for. That's it for now. Don't forget to tell us what you think in the comments below. For more updates, hit the bell icon.